me, Hatsy, and today I am back with another speed build, and this time we are going to be doing part 2 of Elsa's frozen castle. Now, the reason why the castle may look slightly different at the beginning, because I did a little bit of an introduction, is because I have had some serious game problems. Now, I don't know if anyone else has been experiencing this, but if you have been, please let me know, because it could mean that it might be a glitch in the game, and if it is, it would be really helpful to let EA know what's been going on. But yeah, basically what happened was I was building a new neighbourhood, and I was building loads of dream homes over the weekend, and I didn't realise that by doing that, for some reason, it overwrote 2 of my most used neighbourhoods, which was my building world, the world that I use for making houses and creating stuff, and also my Let's Play world. So if you watch Let's Play Witches, then you might notice that the world is a specific neighbourhood, it's very witchy, and yeah, it overwrote it. So for the whole weekend and for Monday night, or Monday evening, I was pretty much rebuilding everything. So I rebuilt Elsa's frozen castle because I forgot to save it to my neighbourhood, and I was also rebuilding the whole town of Let's Play Witches, and it was actually a lot funner than I thought it would be, because at first when you find out that you've lost like hours and hours, if not days of progress, yeah, it can be a little bit frustrating. But no, I actually really enjoyed it, and it gave me a chance to be able to go back to the castle and correct the parts which I didn't particularly like with it. And I actually think that this attempt looks a lot neater than the last attempt that I did. So I'm definitely more excited to share this with you, because I feel like this is a really cool castle from a playable perspective, and it's going to be a lot neater when it does come to playing it if you do have a family. Now, the idea of the interior was that I would purposefully put objects on the outside that would flow through. So if that does bother you, I'm really sorry, but you can of course not enlarge but sort of size down the object, and you can make them not come through the walls. But I actually really like the idea of some parts coming through, because that would be pretty accurate for ice in my opinion, and I don't know, I loved it. But I really wanted to go overboard with the interior, so I did sort of pull out the stocks when I was thinking about things that I could do that was different, and my favourite room in the whole build was Elsa's room. So if you stick around for that, then you'll know what I mean, hopefully. But I'd love to know what you like about the build and what you like about the interior, if you're going to use any of this, and I'd love to know as well, because I love it when people use my interior sort of ideas on their own creations. But anyway, what I was doing is I was trying to fit in with this colour scheme of like this really fluorescent blue colour. I think that's the best way to describe it. But the blue colour's intentions was that it was supposed to look like ice, and I thought with other wallpapers and floorings that weren't in this really shiny colour, it just made it look really bad in my opinion. It's just in my opinion. But no, so I decided to make this build very colourful, and I think that that was the best thing that I could do there. Now, the sort of front rug is actually toned down a little bit beforehand, so you will see it toned down at the end, because I did actually go back to it. I was also really stuck as to what to clutter up the build with. So I was trying out loads of different things. I wanted to include a little snowman, because a little snowman in the film, and he's really cute, and I don't know, I just thought that would be really cute to just put some little ice things in. So loads of icicles as well. Now, there is a beach photo here, and the reason why I put in a beach photo is because for me, I love artwork that reminds me of places that is like a fantasy place, or somewhere that I would go on holiday. So for me, I would love to have a portrait of a place in Italy or France or Spain in my home, and that is just what I would like to look at. And I would like to look at it and think, hopefully one day I will go there again, because I love those places. I absolutely love them. So yeah, I would imagine that Elsa might have something that would be the undoable for her. I don't know. So I did actually put the beach home picture in the lounge area, so you'll see that. But I'd love to know what you think. If you think that's a really bad idea, also let me know, because I can definitely change it for later builds, and I am doing more Disney Princess castles as well. So if you have any ideas of the next Disney Princess castles you want to see, let me know, and that will be really helpful as well. But the idea of putting some signs above the doors was the fact that it would specifically say what rooms you were going into. I don't know why I wanted that, but I thought that would be a really cool idea. I think it was because I went to my dad's old work colleague's house a while ago, and it was a really formal house, and it sort of caught me off guard how formal it was. It was ridiculously formal, and they basically had like a separate toilet for men and women, which surprised me to no end. I was like, why would you have 2 separate toilets in your house? One for men, one for women. It just didn't make sense. But no, I love that idea, and I think that little formal things around a castle would look really cool too. So yeah, that house was just really lovely, but it was so formal, and I don't know, I think that it was nice, but I would imagine that maybe it had 2 separate toilets, male and female, for maybe guests in the past, like maybe because the house was 200 to 300 years old. So yeah, maybe. Anyway, going on to the television surprised me, and I was really excited about sharing this because it was one of my favorite features in the build. I actually decided on having like a contradictory thing. So you basically have water and electricity, which, let's be fair, does not work at all in any situation. But no, in this situation it does. For me anyway, I think it looks really interesting. And for Elsa's frozen castle, why not? I wanted to blend something in there, and I wanted her to have things in the house so that you could actually have her as a sim rather than just like a standard sim in an empty home. Of course, if you did want to just have her in an empty house, then go ahead. But to make it blend into the Sims and to make this a playable house so you could actually have a family here, you could have Elsa here, I think that that was a really good idea. And it's always good to have entertainment things in the houses. So that's why I like to put televisions in, even if it's not that accurate. But of course, you can take it out if you want. And you could just have the sort of ice water feature, which could also be really cool. Also, a lot of things that I did in the build was playing around with these tiles, and I loved it at first, but oh my goodness, did it get tedious after a while. I was like, I just want to get it right, and it wasn't going anywhere for me. I wish we had more choice of the colours. That would have been really cool. But no, I think it looked pretty good in the end. I used a lot of white as well. White could be the snow, potentially. I don't know, it could be something. Tiles actually remind me of a really fun game I used to play when I was younger. So partly of my childhood, I guess, because my sister and I always used to make these games up because we had a tiled kitchen in our old house. And she always used to say to me that I could only step on certain tiles. And each time it got harder and harder and harder. So it got to the point where I would really hurt my feet. But oh my goodness, was it fun. And yeah, we just used to like play about in the kitchen, and it was the most ridiculous game. But I think that it does remind me of that. So yeah, I love tiles. I love putting tiles in my builds. And it just reminds me of just really fun memories that I once had. But in this room, there was also a dining room. So I decided to put a dining room in here. If I'm being completely honest, it was probably because I forgot to put, I think I was going to put like a bigger lounge in here, but I don't know. I was going to have a dining kitchen, but then I changed my mind. So yeah, I don't know. But anyway, I like the table. I like the flowers on it as well. I started enlarging the flowers that we got with Dine Out, which I adore. And I think it looks really cool in the end. And the idea for putting these little creature posters on the walls, void critters, I think that's what they're called, the official name. So the reason for that is because I would imagine that Elsa's maybe created all these magical characters in the home. So maybe it would go quite nicely because there was like this ice monster, and that was at the start, and that was so frightening. I would have got really scared by that if I was a lot younger watching the film, because it was like this massive muscly monster. And I think that she would have a lot more things in a house which might be magical, mystical, stuff like that. There was also a remembrance wall of her time with Anna, so that was the idea of that. There would be like pictures so that she could remember her sister, because if she had the pure intention to completely leave and never see her sister again, I would imagine that she would take some keepsakes with her. So the memories that they did have before Anna's memory got wiped, she would have pictures of that. So that was the reasoning. But no, the kitchen was really basic, and I think that the kitchen was basic just because the house was quite small. It was only probably the size of, I think, like a normal suburban house. And I think that's pretty good as well, because to play with it, like to actually use it, I think that it would be a lot easier to do that. So definitely good news there. If the fridge and stove swapped places, then that kitchen would look identical to mine in the terms of layout. So not in colourings and things, and not with the mirrors either. But no, my kitchen's like an orangey colour, and I think it's more or less the same size as that. So That's pretty cool. But no, what I was also doing is I was going around putting some pillars in, and I really do wish that The Sims didn't update, because I know they've done one with lighting and I think that's really, really cool. But I wish they did one with the items, because some items look a little bit grey-ish, and I have seen some really, really cool custom content of people that redo windows and make them look slightly brighter. So I think that if the furniture looked a little bit brighter, like the staircase, it would have looked so good. And I really hope they do that. I don't know if they will, but I would love that, even if they just up the brightness of everything by, I don't know, a couple of percentages. I don't even know. But no, I would love that so much, and it would have given this house like a really cool look to it. But anyway, I am thinking about doing some more Disney Create A Sims, and I will finish the Frozen cast, or at least do most of them. And I'm also considering building Arendelle, so let me know in the comments below if you want to see me build Arendelle, because the idea is that you'll be able to have the Elsa's world, or the Frozen world, as a completely separate thing. You'd be able to have it in Windenburg with the proper houses, and you could create some characters around it, and you could actually have them as royalty. So that could be pretty interesting if you want that in your game as well. You could have both the castles, and yeah, you could do some really fun things with that. But yeah, I'm also really into creating Disney villains. So I think that I'll definitely be creating Hans and a few of the others. Maybe the really snobby man. He was really funny. I loved him. I can't remember his name though, but no, he was fantastic. He was a great character. I don't think that he gets very nice comeuppance at the end though, so that was pretty interesting. But I've actually felt like a real villain this week myself, because my oldest dog is really ill and he's had like a stomach bug or something, and I've had to separate him from my 11-week-old puppy. And it's been so hard, because she's just not used to being by herself or just being with me, because she's so clingy with him, and they play together all the time. But no, it's lovely now to have them back playing together and feeling a little bit better, because before, like when I had to separate them for the day, it was heartbreaking. I was honestly heartbroken, because they make such a cute pair. I love it, and I never realised that dogs can be like that. They can actually, I don't know, find a really close friend, but they do pretty much everything together now, and I love that so much. But anyway, this was Elsa's special room. So this is like a relaxing room for music and stuff. I wanted loads of musical instruments in the house. I don't know if Elsa would play any of these, but singing, stuff like that was just something that I definitely wanted to focus on for Elsa's Frozen Castle. So going on to the upstairs was, I mean, there was not a lot of time spent on this, let's be fair. A lot of my time and a lot of the video time was downstairs, because downstairs is the most important thing, and upstairs is really unknown. I think it's really personal as well, because it's like a personal opinion of what Elsa would have in a house. I think it's trickier to do it that way, because everyone's going to have a different idea of what she would actually have up here. So with the Sims objects as well, it's very limited. I would have been able to do a lot more with this if we had more objects in the game. I'm hoping for more objects in the game, of course. Some like fantasy items would be really cool. But yeah, we just have to see. So this is actually the overhang. So this is where she'll be exiting out, and she'll be able to look over at the beautiful world. Really unfortunate, but Elsa wasn't actually living here at this moment in time, and that's because I forgot to move her in. I actually just had the standard Sims of the Windenburg expansion pack, the world that they're in. I don't know, they were just around this house, and it was so annoying, because when I was trying to take screenshots, without a doubt they would go into every single room that I was trying to take a screenshot of. So that got really bad and quick. But no, this was Elsa's bedroom. So what inspired me the most for this room was actually the fact that I used to collect Polly Pockets. Now, I don't know how popular they are with people nowadays, but they were very popular when I was younger. And there was a certain room, there was a certain Polly Pocket I can remember, and it had like an organ behind the bed, or there was something to do with that. So it was like a massive, ginormous bed. So I tried to incorporate something ginormous here, but of course it's not reasonable to do that with The Sims 4. So I really just had to improvise, put loads of flowers there, stuff like that, make it look really spring orientated, which, I don't know, that's really not what I wanted, because it's supposed to look like winter. But there wasn't much I could do with this space, so bear with me. But anyway, it finishes off with some curtains and stuff, and I put some little items around the room, some more icicles and things, and teddy bears as well, because who doesn't love teddy bears? I certainly do. In fact, there's a shop that I really want to buy a teddy bear from. They've made teddy bears for like, I think the past 100 years or something back in England. They look incredible. But anyway, that is the end of the build. So I really hope you enjoyed it and I hope to see your future videos. Thank you so much for watching and I'll speak to you all soon.